in the bustling heart of Brooklyn, New York, where the hum of subway trains mingled with the chatter of diverse neighborhoods. The Ramirez family carved out their existence in a modest apartment above a tiny corner bodega. It was the early 2010s, a time when the echoes of the Great Recession still lingered, like a stubborn fog over working-class America. Tony Ramirez, a proud U.S. citizen of Mexican-American descent, had once been a reliable auto mechanic in a Detroit factory, but outsourcing had shipped his job overseas, leaving him with nothing but a toolbox and a bruised sense of pride. His wife, Lisa, a second-generation immigrant from Puerto Rico, manned the bodega's counter from sunrise to well past sunset, selling lottery tickets, sodas, and canned soups to the steady stream of locals, tired commuters, school kids, and night shift workers. Their children, Marco, a bright-eyed 14-year-old with a knack for numbers, and Elena, an imaginative 11-year-old who loved sketching in her notebook, grew up amidst the shelves of chips and the faint scent of fresh coffee brewing. The family had scraped together every penny to buy the bodega 5 years earlier, using Tony's severance pay and a small loan from a community credit union. But life in the city was unforgiving. Rent soared like the skyscrapers downtown, utility bills piled up, and health insurance premiums ate into what little profit they made. Tony often stared at the flickering fluorescent lights during quiet hours, wondering if the American dream was just a faded billboard on the highway. The struggles began in earnest. During the harsh winter of 2012, a brutal nor'easter storm battered the East Coast, flooding the bodega's basement, storage and ruining thousands of dollars in inventory. Boxes of perishables turned to mush. Electronics short-circuited by water. The family huddled in their cramped apartment upstairs, sharing blankets as the power outage stretched into days. "How are we going to pay for this?" Lisa whispered one night, her voice cracking as she held back tears. Tony, feeling the weight of responsibility like an anvil on his chest, promised, "We'll figure it out, mi amor. We always do." But inside, doubt gnawed at him. Marco missed school trips to the Statue of Liberty because the fees were too high, and Elena's art supplies were limited to whatever she could scavenge from, discarded flyers. Meals were simple, rice and beans, or peanut butter sandwiches when times were leanest. Creditors called relentlessly, and the family dodged eviction notices more than once, relying on food stamps and community food banks to bridge the gap. Worse still were the emotional tolls. Tony battled depression, masking it with long hours fixing neighbors' cars in the alley for pocket change. Lisa, ever the optimist, juggled the store while volunteering at the local church. But the stress showed in her weary eyes. The kids felt it too. Marco was bullied at his public high school for his hand-me-down clothes, earning the nickname Bodega Boy, while Elena dreamed of dance classes she couldn't afford, practicing moves from YouTube videos on their worn living room rug. Arguments flared up. Tony once snapped at Lisa over a risky investment pitch from a shady acquaintance, yelling, "We can't keep throwing money at dreams." Lisa shot back, "Then what? Just survive? Our kids deserve more." It was in these raw moments that the family teetered on the edge. But a spark of resilience kept them from falling. The turning point arrived unexpectedly during Marco's sophomore year, at a free financial literacy seminar hosted by a nonprofit at the Brooklyn Public Library. He absorbed lessons on compound interest, emergency funds, and entrepreneurial hustles. The speaker, a self-made entrepreneur from Harlem, shared stories of families like theirs who had clawed their way up. Marco rushed home that evening, his backpack slung over one shoulder, eyes alight with possibility. "Dad, Mom, we don't need a miracle," he said, spreading out pamphlets on the kitchen table cluttered with bodega receipts. "We need a plan. Let's track every dollar, cut the waste, and build from there." Skeptical at first, the family committed to change, starting with the basics. They downloaded a free budgeting app on their old smartphone and logged every transaction, no more impulse buys or extending credit to unreliable customers who promised to pay next week. Lisa renegotiated with suppliers, joining a co-op of small business owners to bulk buy goods at discounted rates, saving them 15% on costs monthly. Tony dusted off his mechanic skills and advertised affordable repairs on Community Facebook groups, turning the bodega's backlot into a makeshift garage, On weekends, he fixed flat tires and oil changes for $50 a pop, pulling in an extra $200 each month. The kids pitched in, too. Marco tutored classmates in math for $20 an hour after school, stashing 80% of his earnings into a high-yield savings account he opened online. Elena, with her creative flair, started making custom greeting cards from recycled materials and sold them at the Bodega counter, her little enterprise netting $100–200 weekly. But progress wasn't linear. Challenges persisted, testing their resolve. In 2014, a spike in city taxes threatened to shutter the Bodega. The family rallied, attending town hall meetings to advocate for small business relief. And Tony even spoke up, his voice steady despite nerves. They faced competition from big chain convenience stores popping up nearby, forcing them to innovate, adding fresh produce from local farmers, markets and a coffee station with affordable lattes to attract millennials. Health scares added to the mix. Lisa's minor surgery for a gallbladder issue drained their savings, but it reinforced the need for an emergency fund, which they rebuilt diligently. Marco struggled with college applications, rejected from his dream school due to financial aid gaps, but he pivoted to a state university with scholarships. Elena dealt with peer pressure, tempted by friends' lavish spending, but family talks around the dinner table, now a ritual, reminded her of their shared goals. Over the next 5 years, these small, consistent efforts snowballed. By 2017, they had saved enough to renovate the Bodega, expanding it into a full-service corner market with a deli, counter offering affordable sandwiches, and salads tailored to the neighborhood's health-conscious crowd. They integrated technology, a point-of-sale system for inventory tracking, and an online presence via Instagram, where Elena's vibrant posts drew in younger customers. Tony's side hustle evolved into a mobile auto repair service, complete with a used van emblazoned with Ramirez reliable repairs. Marco, now in college studying business administration, interned at a fintech startup, bringing home ideas like accepting mobile payments and loyalty, programs that boosted sales by 30%. The family's income diversified further. Lisa enrolled in free online courses from platforms like Coursera, learning about e-commerce, and launched an online store, selling Bodega staples with delivery options. Through apps like DoorDash, they invested wisely, starting with low-risk mutual funds, then dipping into real estate by purchasing a rundown duplex in Queens with a small business loan, which they flipped into rental units after Tony's renovations. Setbacks came. A 2019 economic dip from trade wars hurt suppliers, and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 forced a pivot to curbside pickup and essential goods stocking, but their foundation held. They even gave back, donating surplus food to local shelters and mentoring other immigrant families through the same nonprofit that inspired Marco. By 2025, the Ramirez empire had grown remarkably. They owned 3 thriving bodegas across Brooklyn and Queens, a fleet of 5 repair vans employing local youth, and a portfolio of 5 rental properties providing steady passive income. Marco, fresh out of grad school, managed operations with data-driven efficiency, while Elena, pursuing graphic design, branded their businesses with eye-catching logos that went viral on social media. The family upgraded to a spacious brownstone in Park Slope, but they remained grounded. No extravagant vacations to Europe yet, though they splurged on annual road trips to national parks, bonding over campfires and stories of their journey. Tony and Lisa, now in their 50s, often reflected on those early days. "We weren't handed success," Tony would say, sipping coffee in their sunlit kitchen. "We built it brick by brick through storms and doubts. But look at us now, proof that with grit, education, and family unity, anyone can rewrite their story." The Ramirez family's odyssey, from a leaky bodega to financial independence, stands as a beacon in a nation of dreamers. It reminds us that true wealth isn't measured in dollars alone, but in the resilience forged through adversity, the wisdom gained from failures, and the joy of lifting others along the way. In the land of opportunity, their tale whispers, start small, stay consistent, and never underestimate the power of a plan. Your breakthrough might be just one disciplined step away.